Hello, everybody. I'm extremely glad to be welcoming you all to another amazing webinar from the Zoho SalesIQ series. So, we hope we're all doing great, and that's what keeps us up and running. I'm Michelle from the Zoho SalesIQ team, and I'm going to be taking you through the series of webinars on Zoho SalesIQ and the Zobot. So in this second webinar of the series, we're going to be talking about the basics of how Zobots function and how they help businesses run efficiently, and also how to set up Zobots. So I'll just quickly take you through the agenda first. So First, I'll be talking about the chatbot trends and how Zobots have taken over the market, and then about why you should be using the Zobot for your business, followed by the basics of Zobots and demos of how to set them up, and possible integrations, and finally, their endless possibilities. All right, so without any further ado, let's get started. So, we are in the midst of a once in a decade paradigm shift. Messaging is the new platform, and chatbots have become our new apps, right? So, this shift is radically changing end user experiences and developer frameworks, and thus business models, how we monetize, and how we advertise. So, since these chatbots are proving to be a fantastic tool for customer retention and engagement, they have taken over a myriad of industries ranging from aviation to hospitality to e commerce to banking and so much more. So, this can completely be attributed to the growing preference of individuals towards messaging applications over social networking sites. So, chatbots that are developed for integration with messaging applications are also expected to witness a very significant market demand in the future. And moreover, these chatbots are gaining popularity as businesses continue to automate their sales and customer services. So, the use of chatbots has enabled organizations these days to deliver timely services at reduced costs, and according to the statistics displayed here, the 39.3% of industries that have been using chatbots from 2014 is expected to grow to almost 100 by 2025, which means that every existing industry is going to jump into using chatbots for all organizational activities, including customer service, appointment scheduling, recruitment, etc. So, various innovations carried out in the fields of artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies are expected to enhance the features of chatbots, which in turn will drive demand for the market. So, why are these chatbots the new trend? They have smart AI capabilities. This means that they can help predict what customers will need or want to buy based on past purchase history and additional machine learning capabilities. So, these bots can begin to take a proactive approach to keep your customers engaged on the website. And unlike human operators, chatbots are up and running 24/7 on your website or on your mobile app, so they never grow tired of answering visitors' questions at any point in time. You also have 100 different apps and tools that you can use to launch a chatbot and begin testing its effectiveness. There's no huge upfront cost, just the basic conversational mapping work that you will have to do from your end. Sometimes representatives in your organization might not be in a state to pick up chats, and customers always want to get their queries answered, right? So they don't like waiting for an answer. So with chatbots, you can be least worried about this kind of a scenario because these chatbots are available around the clock and are always emotionally positive. They're up for questions around the clock, and they keep your customers engaged even when you are offline. Responses from chatbots cannot get any faster. So these chatbots can intelligently pass customer queries. They can get back to them in a jiffy with the most appropriate responses and suggestions. So as technology behind these chatbots is advancing, their functionality is also improving by the day, and they're now able to sort out low level issues very quickly. So you have chatbot APIs that allow machines to speak to humans using natural language processing, which means you don't feel like you're talking to a chatbot, although you mentally know, most people mentally know that they're talking to one. So it gives you the feel of talking to another human operator and does not sound robotic. That's how efficiently these chatbots have been programmed. So far, I had taken you through the functionalities, the trends, and advantages of chatbots in general. Now, let's get to the specifics, the Zobot. All right. So, what is the Zobot? The Zobot is a bot development platform that is available inside Zoho Sales IQ. With this, Sales IQ users can build very compelling bots to automate customer interactions. We can program these bots to respond, to act, and to qualify customers. So, Zobots can maintain conversations with users in a natural language, understand the intent of what the user is trying to say, and then send a response based on the business rules and data of the organization. And remember, these can be run both on websites and on mobile applications. So, why do you need the Zobot for your business? Why should businesses make use of chatbots? How will it improve a business's efficiency? I'm going to talk to you about that. So, every business today has gone online, right? Every business owner spends a fortune to design their website, but they're actually let down when visitors leave the website without doing anything. So, if you're a business owner who's struggling to keep your website visitors engaged, the Zobot is here to help. So it can replace the operators in your organization, not literally, but let me tell you how. It can assist visitors around the clock by answering their queries instantaneously, even when you or your operators are not around. Be it one visitor or 100, the Zobot is going to handle queries with the same efficiency at the same time. So these Zobots are deeply programmed and they can be customized to fit your business requirements. You also have pre-built chat templates inside the builder and inside our developer section that you can make use of. So you can deploy these chatbot templates or sample scripts, and you can make changes, minor changes to the scripts in case most of the requirements match what you have for your own business, and you just need to make a small change with the responses or something like that. Or you can keep the templates as a reference, and you can start building from scratch. So these Zobots go the extra mile and also schedule meetings by checking your availability. Isn't that great? So you don't have to maintain a personal assistant anymore. It gives your website visitors the ultimate website experience and all the necessary information and qualifies them for sales. This Zobot is also going to help you collect feedback and measure customer satisfaction. So, for example, you can create bots for lead generation. Say you want to determine who your potential leads are based on what actions they're performing on the website. You can make use of the Zobot. You can collect all of the necessary details and create a lead inside CRM, which you can use later on and identify your customers. And you can also program the Zobot to create tickets for website visitors who have issues with the products or the services that have been offered. So you can collect details about the tickets, the priority of the problem that they're facing, and then create a ticket inside Zoho Desk. You can also check the status of tickets that have already been created inside Zoho Desks. You have separate APIs for that. So basically, there are two types of bots that you can create with Zoho Sales IQ Zobot building platform. The first type is command driven bots. So, for this, you can make use of the platform called SalesIQ Scripts that is structured on Deluge. And the second type are conversational Zobots or NLP bots. And for this, there are platforms like, Zia Skills, Dialogflow, and Watson that you can use. All right. So these Zobots can interact both proactively and reactively. So they keep giving instructions and instantaneous and appropriate responses while also constantly analyzing messages that are sent out by your customers. And they know every single detail about your visitor, and they also keep them recorded inside a database. In case any visitor is getting bored of talking to the Zobot, that seldom happens, and chooses to talk to a human operator, so the Zobot displays an option for the customer to do so. So, in case any of your operators I'm sorry, in case any of your visitors are feeling the need to talk to a human operator while they're in the middle of a conversation with the Zobot, they can do so by clicking on the want to talk to human option. All right, so in that case you will have to allow handoff while setting up your Zobot inside the SalesIQ portal. So I'll be showing you how to do this in a short while. So they own natural language and graphical user interfaces, which is the base on which these Zobots function. So with the NLP interface, the Zobot will analyze the intent of what the user is trying to say, and it provides responses accordingly. What's best is that they can be quickly and very, very easily integrated with any SaaS application out there. So, what does a Zobot do in your business? So, it identifies potential leads, helps in lead generation, helps solve customer issues, has the ability to assist visitors who speak different languages, shortens your sales cycle, provides personalized customer engagement, and also communicate promotions. So, these are a few of the huge bunch of activities that the Zobot can perform in your business. These Zobots are what cutting edge teams are using to automate their marketing and other processes. So these robots have a very important role to play in the customer experience, which is really, really important in today's digital economy, where customers are more than willing to change providers or a service at the drop of a hat. So now let's move on to the next part of our webinar. So now I'm going to show you two very powerful demos of Zobots that have been deployed on two different websites. One of these Zobots has been built using the SalesIQ Scripts platform that is structured on Deluge. It has been structured from scratch, and the other one is an NLP bot, or a conversational bot as we call it, that was created using the Zia Skills platform. So let's look at these two. So this is the first website along with the Zobot deployed on it. The Zobot is programmed to schedule test drives for visitors who land on the website and who want to try new cars out. It has been built for an automobile website. All right, so let's look at the bot functioning. So now that I have landed on the website and I have matched the criteria that was set inside during the Zobot configuration, I have been triggered with a message, and the Zobot is asking me if I would like to book a test drive for a new car. And there are two different response suggestions that have been displayed here. So I'm going to click on I would like to schedule. So I can see the bot typing status here. I hope you remember that we set up this bot typing status during the previous part of our session in the Zobot configuration window. So now it's just asking me for a few details beginning with my name. I'm going to type in my name. And my registered email address. And following that, it's asking me for my contact number. So do you see this part that says want to connect with a human? So this is where your users can switch talking from a Zobot to one of your operators in case they want to during the middle of the conversation. All right, so when they click on yes, the chat is going to be routed to all of the available operators in your organization, and one of them can pick that chat up and answer the question. So now I'm going to go ahead and give in a contact number. And now it's asking me to share my location. So I'm going to click on share location. So we have input cards and display cards in Zoho Sales IQ. That is going to make your job easier, so you don't have to collect all of the details manually, so your visitors don't have to type in every single data that they want to send to you. You have widgets that help you do that. All right, so I'm going to send my current location because I want the car to be brought to my current location. So following this, I will have to pick a time slot for my test drive. So I'm going to click on schedule. So here date and time slots input card has been used. All right. So let me say Wednesday, December 4, 2019 at say 11:30 a.m. And I'm going to click on confirm, which is when my appointment is going to be confirmed. So yes, my test drive has been scheduled. So this is the final confirmation message that the bot sends after your appointment has been fixed. Let me show you how this looks on the Google Calendar. So here is my test drive that has been scheduled inside the calendar along with the date, the time, the location, and it's going to send the operator a reminder 30 minutes before. So here, this can be very useful for representatives to bring the vehicle for test drive to my location. All they have to do is click on the location and it's going to redirect them to Google Maps and they can directly navigate from there. That's how easy it is. So that was the Zobot that can be used on automobile websites to fix or schedule test drives. So we have a template that's similar to this that you can use. You can check that out inside the template section of the Zobot builder. Let's go back to our next demo. This one right here is a Zobot that was built using the Zia Skills platform for a hair salon website. So it's going to be helping visitors on the website to schedule hair care appointments. It's going to tell them the prices of the services that are offered and what the working hours of the salon are and so much more. So this Zobot here has been trained using something called skills and actions. So skills and actions are the backbone of the Zia Skills platform. They are like the intents and training phrases that you might have heard of in the Dialogflow platform. All right. So these skills and actions are going to be training the Zobot to answer the different queries that come in from the visitor's side. So we'll be entering sample invocations of what the questions might look like when they come from the visitor's side, and we're going to be training the Zobot. So this one right here has been trained in such a way, and let's see how it functions. So I've landed on the website and matched the trigger criteria. So here's a welcome message for me, and the bot is asking me how it can help me. So I'm just going to ask it what services the salon offers. So looks like the bot is typing. All right. So here it is: men's haircut, women's haircut, children's haircut, and hair spa. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask the price for a haircut. So yes, it's here. So an advanced haircut costs $400 and a basic one for 300 and hairstyling for 500. All right. So let me think of another question that I can ask. Let me ask it about the working hours. All right, we work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on all days. So, the specialty of these NLP bots is that they're going to be answering the same question that is asked in different ways. Say, you want to check the salon working hours, but you haven't typed out the entire question and you just say working hours. It's still going to give you the same answer. That's how efficient these NLP bots are. All right. So, let me say I want to fix an appointment. It's asking me for my name again. my email address. So now I'm just going to randomly enter in a location. So I just entered the name of a place and the Zobot is telling me that they don't offer services in that location. Alright, so I'm going to have to go ahead and choose a location from this bunch. Alright, let's assume that I'm in India and I probably can't get to any of these locations right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you for the purpose of the webinar. I'm going to choose Brookfield and the date of the appointment, let me say today. What time? Maybe 11. Great. So the Zobot has booked the appointment for me. So that's how Zobots that are built using Zia Skills platform function. All right. So these are purely NLP based and they are trained using skills and actions. Now that we've looked at two very powerful demos, let me tell you how chatbots function as fragments in the market. First, there is a chat or a user interface for user interactions on the websites or mobile applications. This is where hundreds of message exchanges take place. Then, you need a bot engine to design the bot software. Using these bot engines, you can design the bot to work as per your business needs. And without the bot engine, you cannot define the functionalities of the bot or its working. So, the bot engine is basically going to decide the flow of the bot. Following that, you have your business software that consists of CRM, help desk, calendars, project management, etc. This is necessary to store all of the visitor insights that are collected by the chatbot. By this, I mean details like, the visitor name, email, contact number, location, appointments, tickets, etc. So, some companies provide chat interfaces. For this, I can mention examples such as iMessage, Facebook Messenger, Telegram, Live Chat, etc. While some others like Dialogflow, Botsify, Chatbot, and Watson provide bot engines, and some provide business softwares or customer databases, say, the companies that provide help desk, CRM, etc. There are also a few that provide both chat interfaces and bot engines. Zoho Sales IQ, on the other hand, offers a highly interactive and engaging live chat user interface along with audio calls and many other features on websites and mobile applications, along with a bot engine. Majorly SalesIQ Scripts, which is a very compelling platform that can be used to structure and customize the Zobot from scratch. Then, all of the visitor insights are stored inside SalesIQ. You can also export the data that is stored inside SalesIQ to other Zoho applications in case you're using any, or other external applications that you've been using for your business. SalesIQ has also been designed to let you use platforms that you're familiar with. So, in case you're an end-to-end Google user, you can choose Dialogflow. Those of you that are part of the IBM family can choose Watson Assistant, or those of you who already have a bot engine and want to simply integrate it with the Zobot can make use of webhooks. So you don't have to limit your building to just the SalesIQ Scripts platform. We have extensions to other platforms as well. So Zoho Sales IQ Zobot basically provides you everything under one roof so that you don't have to maintain and integrate the fragments separately. To summarize, it is one system to rule out the complexity of the integration of the UI, the bot engine, and the database. So Zoho Sales IQ offers many different platforms such as SalesIQ Scripts, Dialogflow, Zia Skills, Webhooks, and Watson Assistant to help you build Zobots. SalesIQ Scripts is a platform that uses Deluge as its online scripting language, like I had already mentioned. And Zia Skills uses natural language understanding to process and perform your defined skills and actions to respond to your visitors' questions. So you can define a unique set of actions depending upon your requirements. And then you have Dialogflow, which is an end-to-end development suite for building conversational interfaces powered by machine learning to recognize the intent and the context of what a user says to provide highly accurate responses. Watson Assistant allows developers and non-technical users to collaborate on building conversational AI-powered assistants. Finally, you have webhooks. We're all familiar with webhooks. They provide a mechanism whereby a server-side application can notify a client-side application when there's a new event on the server. So when you have a bot engine and a service platform, these webhooks will act as a connection between the two. So you can choose any one of these based on your area of expertise or familiarity. So let me show you how to add a Zobot. Let me quickly show you, since we've covered this during our previous webinar, I'm going to be quickly showing you how to set it up. Let's go back to the SalesIQ portal, navigate to settings and click on Zobot and click add bot. So I'm going to give my bot a name. I'm adding a description. And I'm choosing a website to deploy my Zobot on. And I can choose departments. I'm setting the visitor type. And I'm setting when the Zobot has to trigger my visitor. And I'm setting working hours for the Zobot, setting the bot typing status, and I'm also allowing handoff. And finally, we're going to choose the platforms. All right, so today's focus is going to be on the SalesIQ Scripts platform. All right, so here we are. So in this webinar, we'll be looking at how to build a Zobot using SalesIQ Scripts. First, I'll tell you how the flow goes. A visitor lands on the website. So if this visitor matches the criteria that has been set up inside the Zobot during configuration, the Zobot is going to trigger a message to the visitor. If not, it doesn't trigger a message and the visitor must proceed to initiating a chat with the Zobot. When the visitor sends out a message, the message handler comes into play. It's going to check if the context in the message exists, and if it does, it'll collect all the inputs that it can find in the message. Otherwise, it'll start looking for another message that matches the existing context. Once the message handler is successfully executed, the context handler executes. This is invoked after collecting all the necessary inputs for a particular context. So, what is Deluge? Zoho SalesIQ Scripts platform is built on Deluge, Zoho's low-code online scripting language. So this is used for rapid application development. Since it is mostly adaptive software development, there's very less talk, more action, and lots of testing. Deluge is robust and easy to use because of the extremely user friendly syntax. So, the script builder inside the Zobot offers a drag and drop user interface, thus leaving out the task of remembering Deluge syntax and functions for the user. So let me quickly brief you on the basics of the Deluge platform. So like any other language, Deluge also has data types like string, list, map, boolean, etc. So you will be seeing more of these while we structure the scripts during the later parts of the webinar. And you have operators. So we have arithmetic operators, relational, conditional, and you also have list operators to tell if elements are in or not in. And you also have list operators. And then you have Deluge system variables to retrieve the current date and time. So using zoho.current date and zoho.current time, you can pull out the current date and time in case any of your requirements need these values. And then you have inbuilt functions. So you have 6 categories of inbuilt functions in Deluge. You have text, number, date, time, collection, common functions, and XML functions. So these are extremely effective inside the platform. So you can keep note. You can make note of this URL and you can find all of the 6 different categories of inbuilt functions here. All right, you can also try them out right there. So Deluge lets you integrate with so many different Zoho apps and also a lot of external apps. All right. So some of the Zoho apps that you can integrate with are CRM, Invoice, Calendar, Reports, Recruit, Desks, Books, Subscriptions, etc. So there are so many more different products that you can connect to. This is just a small bunch. So once you explore the Deluge documentation, you'll know how many services you can integrate with, how many external services you can connect to, and all of that. The handlers. So the SalesIQ Scripts platform consists of 4 major handlers: trigger handler, message handler, context, and failure handler. So these handlers are the backbone of the SalesIQ Scripts platform, without which it cannot function. Let me tell you about them one by one. So the first one is the trigger handler, which is a piece of SalesIQ script that is used to invoke a custom action or a message by the bot when visitors are entering your site. So this trigger will be executed only when the rules that you set inside the intelligent trigger section match the visitor criteria. This is like a personalized proactive chat invite that you are sending out to a visitor. So with these trigger messages, you can attract customers to your business and you can also make them your prospects, because who doesn't like voluntary help, right? So let me tell you what this trigger handler is, or give you a quick example or a very relatable example of what it is. So it's pretty much like a welcome desk at a car showroom. So say you're entering a car showroom and there's always someone who walks up to you and greets you, talks to you. They ask you what you need help with or which car models you want to look at, right? So the trigger handler is going to function in the exact same way. Suppose there's a visitor who's new to my website and he's trying to buy one of my products for the first time, and he's pretty lost in the website since we have a lot of pages inside the website and he doesn't know what to start with. The trigger handler is going to help him. You can set up conditions to trigger the visitor after 2 minutes on the website, after 2 minutes of his time on the website. All right, you can just pop in a message saying, hey there, are you lost, how can I help you, or something like that. So the Zobot is capable of triggering messages of this sort, and these messages will be configured inside the trigger handler. So they are proactive personalized chat invites. Next is the message handler. So this is a process of reactive engagement by the bot. So reactive in the sense these handlers only function when there's a message that comes in from the visitor's side. So without them sending a message, the message handler is not going to begin functioning. So it's invoked when the bot receives a message from the website visitor. The combination of messages we receive from the website visitor will be analyzed and stored in the code already, and then the bot will start responding to the visitors based on the question they receive from the available answers. So another best example that can help you relate better is that of a call center. So you call a support center and you tell the representative that you have trouble with something, right? And then they're going to respond to you with a solution. They don't voluntarily call you, unlike the functioning of the trigger handler, right? So that's how the message handler function. Only when the website visitor sends in a message, the message handler is going to begin executing and send out a reply to the message. Then there's the context handler. So before talking about the context handler, I'd like to tell you about what a context is. So a context is a conversational equivalent to a web form. These web forms are used to collect multiple inputs from the visitor to perform a single action. Similarly, a context is a definition of a web form that collects multiple inputs in a conversational manner and executes an action, which is the context handler. So this can basically work in association with the message and the trigger handlers. That is, the handlers can return a context instead of a message reply. So I'd like to mention an example that can help you relate to it better. So the Google Calendar bot demo that we had looked at in the beginning had a context handler and a message handler in it. So it had used the message handler to collect the data such as name, email, contact number, and location and the date, and then it stored it in the context handler. All right, it stored it in a particular context, which had in turn recorded it on my Google Calendar. All right, so any backend action that is set to be performed on behalf of the visitor will be taken over by the context handler. Finally, there's the failure handler. So this one gets invoked when the actions returned in the other handlers fail to execute. So the inputs here will be the details of the visitor, the cause of the failure, the previous response for the object due to which the action had failed. So this handler can be disabled, it'll be disabled by default, but if you wish to set up failure responses, you can enable it. So this can be configured in cases like when chats are forwarded to operators when they are offline, or maybe when your operators are unavailable during business hours, operator email address is invalid or inactive in the portal, or the character limit was exceeded in the reply given. So now we'll build a basic bot together by structuring each handler separately. So now that we know what the Zobot is and what its skills are, how it works for a business, let's start. Let's try and start building a Zobot. So I hope all of you would be building along with me. Let me go back to the SalesIQ portal. So here is the bot that we had just set up a while ago. So here, whenever you create a new Zobot using the SalesIQ Scripts platform, there's going to be a default script inside the builder. All right, so you can make use of this script as the base and make changes. In case you want to, you can refine the code, or you can delete the entire default script and start coding from scratch. So for now, I'm going to be showing you how to import a template from the Zoho SalesIQ library and then to make modifications. I'll show you how it has been structured. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and click on choose from templates. So here's a huge bunch of templates that you can choose from. We also have some inside the sample script section. All right. So let me just go ahead and choose, say, Zoho CRM. And here we are. All right, so in case you have any previously scripted code inside the builder and you're trying to import a new template, the SalesIQ Scripts platform is going to throw you a pop-up that says, importing this template is going to erase the entire script that is in your builder already. So you need to make sure you have a copy of the previous version of the script before you import a template. All right, otherwise the entire script will be deleted. So here, yes, we have imported our template for Zoho CRM. So I'll show you how this has been structured. All right. So first, let's look at the trigger handler. So here, the response is a map, and we have something called actions inside the Zobots. So these actions are pretty much what the Zobots are supposed to do after every visitor message or every visitor action. All right. So here, the action type is reply. So and here is the message that is going to be sent out to the visitor when they match the trigger criteria. All right, so this is the text response. So we have configured that in this way. We're saying response.put, and here are the replies and the text that has to be displayed. So in addition to this plain text, I'm also giving some input for the visitor to make my chat window more appealing, or to save the visitor the trouble of typing out what they want to do. All right, so I'm going to give them some inputs. So I'm using a widget here. So I'm using this single select widget, and I'm giving two options. Tell me more and thanks, I'm okay for now. All right, so you can also define this in another way. You can say suggestions, and all right, so you can also do this. So this is going to show the same thing. So response suggestions can be written in two different ways. So now it's going to be looking like this. All right, and finally we're returning the response. So that was our trigger handler. So whenever you make changes to the scripts inside the Zoho SalesIQ script builder, you can preview the changes inside the preview window itself. Every time you make a change, you need to refresh the preview window for the changes to reflect. All right, so you don't have to directly publish the code on your website every time. You can keep checking the changes and reviewing them inside the preview window, and once you feel all of this all of the functionality has been defined and everything is complete, you can go forward and publish it on your website. So in case you publish it every time, sometimes things that you don't want to publish on your website might just go live. All right, so it's always better to check it in the preview window before publishing it on your website. So now when the visitor chooses an option, the execution is going to move on to the message handler. All right, so now since I clicked on great, tell me more, the action type here is context, which means the Zobot's functioning is going to move on to the context handler from the message handler once all of the inputs for a particular context are collected. All right, so the context ID here is accept discount. Whenever your action type is context, you will have to specify a context ID for the Zobot to identify which context you're dealing with right now. All right, so the context ID here is accept discount, and here is the question that comes immediately after the first reply from the visitor. So inside the message handler, there are two different attributes, the chat attribute and the message attribute. So the message attribute is pretty much all of this. So the chat attribute will be used to handle responses for the first query from the visitor side. So all of the answers for first queries from the visitor side will be handled using the chat attribute, and the responses to all other subsequent queries will be handled inside the message attribute. All right, so here this is inside the message attribute, and here is my question. So I'm just going to need the visitor's name, so I'm defining the plain text response, and I'm also using field name to update the visitor's name inside. All right, so here it is. And so what happens if I give in my name? All right, so it's requesting permission to access my OAuth account. So this is part of the connection. So for now, let me just use the connection and show you the functioning, and I'll tell you later about what these connections are and how they have to be set up. So I'm going to refresh the window. All right, so once I've given my name, it's asking me for my email address, so I'm going to enter that as well. So you need to remember that you can change these responses inside the default templates. All right, in case you want to say something else, you can do that very well. You can say, all right, so you can say something like that. So let's go forward and give in my email address. So this is where the execution passes on to the context handler. All right, so do you see this? So here we reference that context using the context ID that we had mentioned earlier. and the second question pops up, right, asking for the email address of the visitor. So once I've replied with my name and my email address, I have defined something called send mail here. So in this case, the visitor is going to be added to the mailing list, and an email is going to be sent out to the visitor. It's like a campaign. All right, it's going to go from the admin user ID to whichever email that has been sent now by the visitor, with a subject and a message. All right, let me show you the other flow as well. So I'm going to refresh the preview window, and now I'm going to click on thanks, I'm okay for now. So we are here in the message handler. The plain text response along with the options are displayed. So I'm just going to say I would like to be notified about promotional offers. So the execution moves on here, right? So it's asking me for my email address, and then my name. So do you see this info here? I have been added to the Zoho CRM connected to this account, all right, and I've also received a confirmation email. So we have APIs inside Deluge to perform specific functions for integrations with different Zoho products. So I'll show you the APIs here. So here is one API that is going to search records inside my CRM. All right, so I'm going to say zoho.crm.search records, and the module in which I'm going to conduct my search, and what is the condition that I'm going to search with. So here this API is going to search with the email and also the name of the connection that has been created to do so. All right, I can also update the existing records inside Zoho CRM in case one of my visitors has changed his email address or his phone number. I can do so using the update record API. So here I'll have to give the module, the ID, and say here I'm going to change the last name of the visitor. So it's going to be, you will have to specify which record you want to update and what you want to update in the particular record, and map, and also with the connection name. So to create a new lead, right now that was what had happened when I had given my name and my email address. I was created as a lead inside the Zoho CRM connected to this account. All right, so for that this API is used. So Zoho CRM.create record, which module you want to create the lead in, and what are the details that you want recorded for this particular visitor. So here it has taken my email and my name and has created a lead inside CRM and the connection name again. So you can see all of the details here inside the info message. You can see the owner of the lead, and what was the last activity time, and the zip code, the URL visited, and all of those details. All right. So the Zobot not only allows you to use text but also widgets like calendars, articles, URLs, etc. to ease customer experience. For this, we have features called input cards and display cards. So input cards are the different type of actions used by the Zobots to procure inputs from visitors. Some of the most commonly used input cards are, calendars, sliders, location widgets, response suggestions, etc. So here you can display options to the visitor to choose from so that they can save themselves the trouble of typing. And then you have calendars to help you solve the hassle of scheduling appointments and meetings manually. You can also use range calendars for the same. And then you have feedback widgets like star widget, star rating, happiness rating, and like button that can be helpful in interpreting what your visitors have to say about you and your brand. And then you have location widgets that we had looked at to offer location based services in case of scheduling test drives or delivery of products that were bought online, etc. So you also have input cards to get the visitor's name, email address, and so much more. Display widgets help you display rich content that consists of different formats, images, links, etc. to your visitors. Here you have links, articles, images, videos, and attachments to assist your visitors with. Links can be used inside SalesIQ Scripts to display URLs to visitors so that they can access them right away from the chat window along with text and images. And then you have articles that can be used to let visitors access your resources and FAQs right from the chat window. And you have images to make your chat window look more appealing. These can be displayed along with URLs and articles for visitors to access them. And then you have connections. So connections in SalesIQ Scripts. So you might have been wondering while looking at the template about how I had connected to the Zoho CRM service for my leads to be created or my data to go and fall inside the particular connection. So for that, you need to create connections inside Zoho SalesIQ. So these connections are interfaces to integrate third-party services with your Zoho service. In this case, Zoho SalesIQ. So these connections are used in a URL invocation task to access authenticated data. To establish a connection, you need to provide a connection name and an authentication type amongst other details. So when you provide these details, it's going to take care of the authentication and establish a safe connection with either Zoho apps or external ones. So in Deluge, there are 4 HTTP methods: get, post, put, and delete, and 3 authentication types: basic, OAuth 1, and OAuth 2, as you all know, where OAuth 1 and 2 are used to establish secure access between SalesIQ and other apps. So let me show you how to create a connection now. Let's go back to our portal. Let me close this. So to create a connection, you will have to click on Manage Connections at the bottom left corner of your screen. This is going to take you to the connections dashboard where all of the connections that you've created so far will be displayed. All right. So I've created so many connections. So I'm going to show you how to add a new one. So I'm going to click on Add Connection. Here I can see the list of services that I can connect with. So for now, I can also create a custom service in case I want to. In case you want to connect to a service that is not in the list that is displayed here, you can do so with a custom service. So let me show you how to create a Google Calendar connection. I'm going to click on Google, or let's just stick to a Zoho connection, right? Let's create a connection with Zoho CRM. So I'm going to click on Zoho OAuth and I'm going to say CRM, and I'm going to choose the scope, which is going to be Zoho CRM.modules.all, all right? And I'm going to click on Create and Connect. So now comes the authentication. So it's asking me if I want to reuse any of the existing connections because I have a lot of them. So I'm going to choose one of these and click reuse. And yes, my connection has been created successfully. So once your connection is successful, you will see a Deluge code snippet at the bottom of the screen. So I want to talk about 2 parameters while we're still discussing this. So there are 2 parameters that you need to remember while creating a connection. The first one is the connection name and the second one is the connection link name. So the first parameter, connection name, is the name that you define for your connection. All right. So that can be set to anything based on your own requirements. You can as per your wish. And the second one is the connection link name that is generated by the SalesIQ Scripts platform. All right. So when you're importing templates and you're using them inside your script builder, you need to make sure you replace the existing connection link names in those scripts with the connection that you had created for yourself. So for now, this is my connection name, and I'm going to go back to my code and I'm going to replace the existing connection name, that is Zoho CRM 28, with my connection. All right. So only when I replace the existing connection name and the templates with the connection link name that was created for my connections are going to work. Otherwise, my data is not going to fall inside my Zoho CRM. So this is the connection link name that I was talking about. Make sure you replace it for your connections to work. This is another example, an API to create a record inside Zoho CRM. And this is another one to create a new ticket inside Zoho Desk. So you can just use zoho.support.create. And in order to get records, you can just use zoho.support.getRecords. So, chatbots are still considered an emerging technology, but they're quickly maturing and becoming a staple in many businesses' customer service, sales, and marketing operations. So, the list of industries that have been left untouched by the Zobot are a very few. So, they've taken over every industry from e commerce to education. In consumer product industries, they collect information about customer issues and create product tickets. In the software industry, they play a vital role in nurturing potential leads and thus help in lead generation. They help schedule test drives and buy old and new vehicles for automobile websites. And as all of you know, personalized product recommendations have been attracting thousands of customers towards the e commerce industry. They help students in choosing courses of their choice, and they ease location based real estate and even help with hotel reservations. So, in case you're using Zoho Sales IQ, you have two different options. If you're a user of Zoho Sales IQ yourself, you can use SalesIQ Scripts to build a Zobot for your own website. Or, if you're a consultant, you can use the platform to build a Zobot and share it to your client's SalesIQ account and bill them for the development. So, this can be done using the deploy bot option. So after building the Zobot, you will click on the deploy option at the top right corner of your builder and enter the recipient's portal name and click on deploy. A URL will be generated which you can share with your client via private chat, and then they'll be able to view the bot that you had built for them. So in case they want to make changes to these scripts, they again need to get back to you because they cannot make any changes. So this is a constant source of income in case you're a consultant or a partner of Zoho Sales IQ. So with that, we've come to the end of our second webinar. Don't forget to check out our developer documentation and our code samples. The rest of the information about the SalesIQ Scripts platform will be discussed during the second part of this webinar. So it's going to be a session on all of the advanced concepts of the SalesIQ Scripts platform. All right, so that's going to be our next session. In case you have any queries, write back to us at support@zohosalesiq.com and also follow us on Twitter. So I'll see you in the next webinar. And until then, happy Zobotting.